Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts Talk Show. I hope that everybody is trying to stay warm. My name is Joe Pace III. I am your host. My production assistant is Mr. Lionel Dunn. And on last week we were talking about some things. We know that we deal with both the arts. We are a music school, as well as social issues on this program. Today I'd like to first go over some things with you having to do with our school. Now, if you have any questions about anything, please call this station. We have a production assistant, my production assistant, Mr. Lionel Dunn, who is also an instructor at the school, will be more than happy to go over everything with you having to do with our music training. Now, I'm going to ask you to maybe sit with us for a while. Those of you who may be seeing us for the first time, you'll be surprised at some of the things we talk about. Because we don't just talk about the arts, although we are a music school. We believe that the arts penetrate everything, okay? It's not just about music. But we want to go over the program with you and let you see some of the things that we are actually doing over at the Conservatory. Now, we're located at 6353 South Cottage Grove. And that's right next to the Grand Ballroom. Now, if you look at that, look at your screen, you'll see that we train in all the instruments, what we call band instruments: saxophone, trumpet, guitar, drum set, the piano, bass guitar, rhythm guitar. We train in all of those things. And if you have been wanting to play an instrument for a long, long time, now is the time to do it. So you can give us a call. You can call our facility at 773-891-1875, or you can call this facility, and the phone number is right there on your screen. You can't miss it. 312-738-1060. Okay? Now we want to hear from you tonight. Don't be shy. Call. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be courageous in order to do something in life, you know? Alrighty. So we're gonna look for you to give us a call either here or give us a call over at our facility, which is located at 6353 South Cottage Grove. And our phone number there is 773-891-1875. Okay? Alrighty. Now what I want to do here is explain to you our program. The first thing about it, we have two programs in music training. One, you come to our facility once a week for the month, and the other, you come to our facility twice a week for the month, okay? You choose one of those programs based on how soon you'd like to be able to play your instrument at the level that you desire. Now, we do 2 recitals a year. One is in July and one is in December. Okay, this gives you an opportunity to play before an audience. As part of your training, you're not going to be playing by yourself or for yourself all the time. So you want to be able to have the confidence to play before other people. And most of our recitals are attended by friends and family members of our students and, of course, other students. And usually we have at least sometimes about 60 or 70 people in attendance. And that's quite a nice recital. I remember when I was in college, we had recitals, and sometimes the only people that would be there would be the students, all of us students there. But anyway, that was a requirement. We had to do that. This is part of your training. And not only that, but all the training is one-on-one. That's one instructor to one student. And this is very rare. Sometimes you get all this group training and whatnot around in Chicago, and it really is, you know, you can learn, but it takes so long to learn. This is one-on-one training, one instructor to one student. In addition to that, you have 1 hour sessions. All of our sessions are 1 hour in length, okay? And you can give us a call and we give you more information about these programs. How do you get into these programs? That type of thing. What are the requirements for getting into these programs? Okay? And we will be more than happy to let you know that. You can call the facility right now, this facility here, the television station. As you can see, the numbers on your screen there, 312-738-1060. Or you may call our facility. We'd like for you to call here, those of you who are really interested, so that the production manager here, assistants who helped me to put this program together, along with one of our instructors from the school, will be able to explain everything to you. Okay, now having said that, we also have a free drumming program that we run on at our facility. This program runs every Saturday from 10:30 to 11:30, and you can see it right there. This flyer is a little beaten up, but you can see it. It says, learn to play the drums. Oh, is that what you got up there? Yeah, learn to play hand drums. There we go. You can see that now. And if you want to learn how to play hand drums, you come over on Saturday from 10:30 to 11:30. There is a small registration fee, but it's so small until anybody who wants to play would not allow that to stop them. Okay? So that's a free program. That program is put together for anybody who wants to learn how to play the hand drums. Those are the African type drums. Okay? So, and it's a very good program. So we'd like to invite you to come over if you have children, grandchildren, and whatnot, like to get involved with that program and say you want to do that, then come on over and let's do it. Stop putting things off, you know. The important thing is that to take action. Always be willing to take action, you know what I mean? People are so incapable of just doing something, you know. Now I want to talk to you a few minutes about issues facing our nation and all Americans, you know. Now remember, if you want to call in about the music program, if you want to call in about what I'm getting ready to talk about now, you can do that also. Because what we're going to talk about for these next few minutes is the dossier. You say, what is that? Well, that's a memo. That's a series of memos. In fact, 17 of those memos were put together by a man by the name of Christopher Steele. And he was actually working as a spy, so to speak, for a company that gets information on political opponents. It's called an opposition research firm. And this firm is called the GPS, Fusion GPS is what it's called. And this man worked there and he got this information on Donald Trump. Now, there's a long story as to how this all went down. Okay, first of all, there's a guy who was, there's a man, in actuality, a group of people who decided what they were going to do to stop Donald Trump during the primary was to hire this opposition research company to dig up dirt on Trump. Now, these are Republicans. They didn't like the idea that Trump was going to be, was running, and they wanted to make certain that he didn't get the, end up being the one to win the primary. And so they started doing, they hired this company to do some opposition research on him. That is just to look into his background and see if there's some dirt they could bring forth to stop his candidacy. And so they hired him for a few months. This is back in 2016. And they had him. They had this company for a few months, and only a few months, because when it became clear that Trump was going to win the primary, they decided to you might say, cut their losses short. And so they decided not to. Word said, look, it looks as though he's going to win the primary, so we may as well stop spending money with this consulting company. Well, the Democrats, for some reason or another, decided that they were going to hire this company and keep on using them to dig into Trump's background. All right, not a bad plan. Okay, somebody was pretty smart. And so in the meantime, this Fusion GPS, this company that digs up not only information on political opponents, but also other competitive corporations and stuff. This is what they do. They're based in Washington, D.C. And so the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, they decided to hire this man. And he started digging up information and whatnot. And by the way, this man was an agent of the British intelligence. And he had been doing this for like 22 years, from what I understand. This man, Christopher Steele, is heralded in Britain as being an outstanding intelligent person. And not only that, but the Brits believe that we should be saluting this man instead of trying to indict him for bringing this information forth. And this man actually brought this information to the FBI in order to say, look here, this is information that you people need to know about. I've been hired by this opposition research company to dig up information on this man. But some of the information that I've gotten here is capable of really causing a big problem in your country with respect to colluding or collusion, okay, with respect to colluding with Donald Trump, and also could compromise Donald Trump. Because what these people had dug up was information indicating that Trump was willing to do business with them based on being able to trash Hillary Clinton in exchange for doing business with them. In other words, you do this for me, I'll do that for you. Let me explain that again. They wanted, they thought that Trump, who had been trying to do business over there, trying to build a hotel and do some other things, borrowing money from banks and whatnot, because Trump had a very lousy record with the banks here in this country. And so he was going around to China and Russia and other places trying to find money for his big deals. And Russia was one of those places. So they knew that Trump, way back and by the way, back in 2013, Donald Trump had a pageant over there. This time he was a TV star. You all remember him on television doing his program. And they had to allow him to do a pageant in Russia. And at that time, the Russians got a chance to know him very well. And when they got a chance to know him very well, knowing the Russians, they started developing a file on him. You know what I'm saying? You don't go to Russia and move around like that as an American, as a billionaire, because that's formidable as a person who has a very good television program and all of these things of this type. And you know the Russians are going to do a file on him. So they started keeping up with what he was doing. So now all of this information in this dossier, this came from way back when Trump first started going to Russia to do business with people. And part of that thing was something very salacious. This is kind of funny, folks. But at this time, now keep in mind, this man was not the president at this time. But this is what they had dug up on him. his bodyguard has said, because I think his bodyguard testified before Congress and said that some Russians came to him when Trump was there back in 2013 and advised him that they were going to be sending 5 Russian women, okay, up to Trump's hotel. This is really, please, folks. And 5 of them, come on now. Trump is only one man, but they were going to send 5 of them up to his hotel. And what he said is he went back to the hotel and he told Trump that they'd like to send 5 of these call girls up to your hotel room. And he went on to testify before Congress, and he said that he didn't know what happened after that because he left and went home and went to bed. Now, the first thing that came to my mind is, can you be in the Kremlin, basically by yourself, and somebody told you that 5 Russian women is being sent to your hotel, and you tell the only security that you got. Now, remember, he's not president at this time. He just got this one bodyguard. He doesn't have all these Secret Service people and whatnot watching over him. It just doesn't seem to me that you would send that one man home to take a nap. I mean, in the Kremlin? Come on now, this is Russia. This is not downtown Chicago or downtown Manhattan. This is in the Kremlin, so you don't send that man away. But anyway, that's what he said, and naturally there's no way to verify that because he's the only one who was there with Donald Trump. But this salacious information came up in this dossier, indicating that, and of course this is a file that the Russians are keeping on Donald Trump. Naturally, you know that, and so what they're saying is that this information of this type compromised Donald Trump to the point where he would be an agent for the Russian government in some sort of way. Now, if we take a look at the fact that before he actually took office, this was a week or 2 before he took office, Obama had decided that he was going to bring sanctions on the Russians for this stuff going on in the Ukraine. And I remember Donald Trump saying, Russians, have no fear, don't worry. I'll be in the office, sworn in as president in 2 weeks. Now, he said that, and I heard him say it with my own ears. Okay, now that was the first thing about it. But if we notice something, that there hasn't been any name-calling about Putin and the Russian government. He's called people the little rocket man. He's gone over and called the Mexicans here, I'm not going to say Mexicans, but all of the dreamers, the people that are here, part of the DACA. He called them lazy asses, and so forth. And now what his general called them that. I'll take that back, folks. That was his general. Now, I believe that this general, and I was in the military myself, but I believe this general and Donald Trump are locked at the hips, if you want to know the truth, because of the things he said about Congressman Wilson, and he knew those were lies, and he never came out and apologized for it. And he knows that those people are not lazy asses he talked about the other day, and he hasn't apologized for that. And that's the type of stuff that Donald Trump has been doing. Now, let me just touch on something that I really believe is happening. Right now, if you notice that the content, the caveats of this dossier are not being argued anymore. What's being argued is how the dossier played a part in including this guy Carter Page. You know, in other words, this guy Carter Page has been, they put out some sort of search on him. That warrant that they got from the Pfizer is a court of federal judges that that will give out approved warrants and whatnot. If somebody is in this country and they're carrying on things having to do with terrorism or spying and whatnot, they go to this court so they can get a warrant right quickly. And so they got this warrant for this guy Carter Page, who's been going back and forth. You know him, he's got this funny hat on sometime when you see him on television. They got this warrant for him. And now the Republicans are saying, how in the world could you get a warrant for Mr. Page? You are violating all of his civil rights, and this is not right. So what they're doing is they're attacking the way in which this dossier was brought about. Not even one to know about whether or not this is collusion or conspiracy within the American political system. And so, to me, this is a very cunning and sophisticated, slick way in which the Republicans are fighting this to see that that the truth doesn't come out, you know. But the truth will come out, because this dossier is real. Something went on, and the mere fact that this thing that happened in New York at this Trump Tower, where they had this meeting with these Russians, and you see Jeff Sessions, you see George Papadopoulos, you see this fellow Carter Page, and Trump is sitting right there at the table with them. He called, they have been calling George Papadopoulos the coffee boy, but yet on video Trump referred to him as this oil and energy guy, you know, who's a great individual. So all of this had me to say, look, you need to sit down and talk to the people on this program about this, because if you don't follow it closely, you will get fooled by it, because that seems to be the plan. In other words, if we can make this thing smoky enough, if we can create enough controversy around it, then it'll go away. But it shouldn't go away, because first of all, this is America, and what's happening, folks, is this could be the beginning. If we allow this to go on, it could be the beginning the end of this great power. You know, they say these powers rise up and then they fade away. And you know, it happened with the Greeks, it happened with the Romans, it happened with the Mesopotamians, it's happened with Great Britain and so forth and so on. All of these great countries that now are just normal countries. This could be the beginning of that if it's allowed to go on. So we need to get to the bottom of this. I had a lot of more stuff to talk to you about, but we only have a certain amount of time here, as you know. And so we're going to have to shut off. And we'll see you next week, okay? Remember to give us a call now about that music, and we're going to keep on smoking. Thank you very much. Take care.